The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United.
What's got round the back? And Richard Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Thank you all for being with us after our week off. We are back to talk about the running towards the end of the season. It's not quite the running, I suppose, but we're getting close to the important time of the season as we look ahead to the game against Burton, which obviously leads into the Donny game, which we'll preview on Thursday. Mick's back. How are you doing, mate? Enjoy your week off?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been nice. Yeah, no need to sort of worry about moaning about football or anything. It's been great.
It's been lovely, hasn't it? Yeah. When I left work on Friday, somebody said to me, "What do you do this weekend?" I said, "I'm just going to sit and not worry about football this weekend."
Yeah.
And it was lovely. It was great.
Awesome.
Danny's back. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been nice to have a week off from football, but not from work, which is where I still am at the minute, as you can tell from the shameless branding behind me. But yeah, it's nice to do the podcast, and it's nice to see you all.
Absolutely. Steve's back with us. We even sent Steve abroad for a little bit of time off away from this podcast. Steve, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks. I've been back a week, so the effects have worn off. And as I said to you, spending €11 to watch that garbage a week yesterday was not one of my better decisions in life. But there you go.
There we are. The joys of being a Miller. And we have Sam back with us as well. How's it going, Sam?
Yeah, it's good, thank you, mate. I don't know what's happening with my camera.
Just thinking that. Sam's camera was working a minute ago. We could all see Sam before we started going.
He just decided not to work.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see what happens. We might come back. You never know. Right, let's start by talking briefly about the news we talked about, tweeted about today. Tomorrow, or the next day or so, we're going to be talking to Phil Smith, the new independent non-executive director. Sam's back. There we go. We're going to be talking to Phil Smith over the next couple of days. Idea is that will be out just before the Burton game, so kind of Tuesday evening time. So that was interesting. An interesting email to receive from Phil asking to talk to us, which was unexpected. Don't know the format of that. I know it's not going to be particularly long. It might be a 15, 20-minute kind of thing, similar to the one that he's done with Radio Sheffield. If you're expecting an exclusive or some tough questioning, you've come to the wrong place, man. We are literally more likely to find out his favourite pie than find out if he's going to buy Rotherham United. But yeah, Tuesday evening, hopefully that'll be out. But time will tell. Everything should everything go to plan. That feeds onto his kind of interviews he's done with the local press, Mick. Some people are unhappy, as you'd expect. But I thought it was as good as you're going to get. I thought it was significantly better than the Douglas interviews, significantly better than anything Tony Stewart generally comes up with the last 5 years or so. In fairness to him in history, I thought it were all right.
What are people expecting?
I don't know.
Here I am. I'm non-executive director. I'm going to put 400 million quid of my own money into a football club, so you can spraff it away on overpaid players, and we'll still end up in the same place. But we'll get a new manager. We'll bring in Jose or whatever. And what are we talking about? What he's made it clear, absolutely clear, what his role is at this football club. Moving forward, who knows? But if the bloke's got some plans if there are plans in place, if there are discussions taking place, are we expecting him to outline exactly what's going to happen, what he's going to do, what? Pack it in. What he has done is he's started speaking to supporters.
Yeah.
What he's done is what everybody's been asking for the last 6, 12 months, 2 years. He's starting to engage with supporters. And we're still mourning? Nah, sorry. Pack it in.
I agree, Sam. There's lots of things we've asked for, but I think the big thing from a fan's perspective is a bit of engagement, a bit of conversation, a bit of sensible conversation, and as much honesty as you can give. And I think that's what we got. He can't come out and say Matt Hamshaw's done rubbish this season. If we had sack him out, I'm sure he can't come out and say anything like that. He may have gone over the top by saying he's done a brilliant job.
Yeah.
But I don't know what people kind of expected from it. Again, I think it's as good as we could have got.
Yeah, I think he was probably as transparent as he probably could be. When he was saying about the speculation about him taking over from Tony in the future, he's not going to come out and say that it could be. He's not going to turn around and say, yeah, that's definitely going to happen, because like we hammer Tony Stewart with his Premier League in 5 years, Steve Evans, we're going to get promoted. He's not falling in the same trap as them and saying this is going to happen. And he's not saying what's going to improve. He's saying he's going to improve it for like the entertainment value, but he's not saying what, so no one can hammer him when it's not met. I have faith he will do, because he seems very confident and knows one he's improving, which is a lot. But yeah, I have faith, because he wouldn't be so successful, if he didn't know what he was doing. So I have faith.
Yeah. Thomas said Phil Smith's very articulate and knows how to handle media very well. Definitely a tactical move by the club and not a bad thing. Yeah, and I think that's what we needed, Danny. Again, from the Douglas and recent as possible had with Tony Stewart. Maybe not car crash interviews, but they've not filled anybody with any confidence. Anybody, literally anybody. Whereas this one, some people, you're always going to get people upset and moaning about it. But I felt reasonably comfortable, reasonably confident what it was saying. Yeah, I was happy listening to it.
Yeah, no, I was as well. He's just come across as, what he says on the tin that he's going to do, really. He's just here to help, effectively. It's not a paid role he's taking on. It's purely advisory to try and get the best for his football club, which is great to hear. Someone of his background, shall we say, just wanting to help out the club that he supported since he was kicking a football round Managerial secondary school. And he just wants to help, which is great. There's no hidden things. There's nothing really that he can't say. Well, it doesn't come across that he's trying to hide anything, at least, anyway. I think with other interviews, it was car crash because, well, not car crash as you say, but it felt like that because the question didn't really get answered the way that fans wanted them to. They were very corporate, just back off, we know what we're doing sort of answers. But with Phil, it sort of comes across as a fan in a strong position that's wanting to help, and he's doing it the best way he can, which is through financial and economist advice, which is great. It's great to hear. And it's kind of the closest we've got to a breath of fresh air in quite a while, above management level. So yeah, I'm saying I'm all happy for it, and I'm just happy that he's the one that sent the email to us going, "Do you fancy a chat, lads?" Yes.
Yeah, that was quite strange. But again, it's good. This guy's reaching out to fans. I know we're just a few idiots, but he's reaching out to fans to talk to them. And again, we've been doing this for 7 years now. That's never happened before at the football club. It's always been us reaching out, asking for something for him to kind of reach out and kind of make the effort. That's not going to be to everybody's liking, but I think it's a good thing. On the engagement, Steve, on that, it is a good thing, and he's done Radio Sheffield, he's done Paul Davis, he's going to speak to us. He did the first interview when he first came to the club with the club media as well. He's not coming in and just hiding away. He's coming in and talking to people and trying to explain everything as best as he possibly can without tripping himself up, kind of thing. Where do you sit on it?
Oh, absolutely, massively positive. I mean, he's only been around for 3 weeks. Yeah. This is what I don't get from what we see, on social media from the usual suspects. I think it's pretty appalling what some people have put. I mean, the guy is a corporate. He's a fantastic businessman. He's made millions from his companies. I mean, he sort of said in that interview with Radio Sheffield that he's already put 7 figures into Rotherham through sponsorship. And you think to yourself, well, why don't we just give him some time to, have a look round the club, poke his nose in various bits, suggest improvements, and eventually, you never know, things might work. Because at the moment, before he turned up, we were all begging for some communication. Now we've got it. He's saying the same things. I think he's just introducing himself at the moment to everybody concerned, which is local radio. I mean, the fact that you've got an email is fantastic, frankly. And he's been, of course, on the club website. But yeah, let's give the guy a chance. He's evidently a very talented guy. And he did also a little thing. He said that he was hoping to get in more sponsorship, national sponsorship. So let's just give him some time to work out what's going to work and what's not going to work and what can be improved. They're not going to tell us. They're absolutely right. They're not going to come out and tell us. And he's not going to come out and say that Amshore's done a rubbish job. I agree with Mick. What the hell do people expect him to say? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. And if he came in and thought that Tony Stewart was running the club really badly, again, he can't just come out and say that. Yeah, Tony's just rubbish. It's checked out by everybody. Don't worry. I don't know what you think Tony Stewart's going to do. It's checked out, guys. He can't do that. Yeah, I don't know.
What I would say is, for me, if you were to grab 92 football supporters from all 92 football league clubs in this country, sit them down and say, do you want somebody in charge? Do you want the owner of your club to be from your town, to have made their money in your town, to be well off enough to own your football club? Do you want directors on the board who are lifelong supporters of your football club and have got a lot of money? Do you want a well-respected coach who lives and breathes your football club? Do you want all those 5 things? They would absolutely jump at the opportunity. Even if you were to say, well, it's going to take 2 or 3 years for that to come to some sort of fruition. It's going to take some time for these people to work at it. But would you want it? And I'm sure 92 out of 92 on the other 91 would say absolutely, 100%. But see, people are going to moan anyway, aren't they? That's just the nature of the beast at the moment. It's just the way things are. They're starting to build a little bit of a, I don't know what the word is, but something's starting to build or has the potential to start to build. You know, the foundations are starting to be laid. And we need to be part of that as supporters. We need to be backing it. We need to be getting behind it. And the constant criticism is just counterproductive. And what it does is it emanates through the crowd on a Saturday afternoon, on a Tuesday night, onto the pitch, and it just makes the job harder for everybody at the football club, all the players, the managers, the everybody. It makes the job so much more difficult. Yeah, we're going to moan, aren't we? We're going to moan about pies. We're going to moan about this, whatever. But fundamentally, what's happening and what has happened over the last 12, 13 years is only a good thing for this football club. And what has happened in one of the most successful periods in the club's history, and what we're trying to do now is to grab that back by employing people who have the football club and the town of Rotherham at the heart. Surely that's what we want. You know, this town's been kicked through the mud for years, unjustly a lot of the time. And all we're doing now is fighting amongst ourselves. Not all of us, but a lot of us. We need to be backing it. We absolutely need to be backing it 100%. And recognise the fact that if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we gave it a go and we tried. That's my view on it anyway.
Totally agree.
Fair enough. And that's Mick as an old All lad. And he's a Kimmy comp lad. So that's some rivalry there because they said, weren't they, back in the day? It's around a similar time to you as well. Yeah.
No. I'm not having any part of this. I'm having no part of this.
Rob Dixon said, I think you've been a little unfair and unbalanced. Any negative comment on the comments on the job the manager's done? Everything else seemed positive. Let's dive into that a little bit because he said a couple of different bits, Sam, and I think it's important to put it. He said he thinks that Matt Hamshore's done a great job. I think he was referring to the January business and how he was able to attract the players from the clubs they came from. That's what I read. The second part that I read was that he thinks this is a top 10 squad, and that he kind of set a target in the club interview where he wants to finish in the top half. That's what I took from it. So I took that as pressure on Matt Hamshore. He's done good in the transfer window, but I took it as a bit of pressure on Matt Hamshore. We've got to start performing. If we are still in a few games' time, I think there's a bit of pressure there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he focused all the compliments of Matt Hamshaw was on his recruitment, the summer and January, and then referenced upcoming summer window. That was all the compliments were about, really, was his recruiting, how well he did, how composed he was. And then he was on about he's been given a bad hand, and we're saying injuries are down to bad luck, which is up for interpretation in it. So if that's you can't slander him. We can't say he's doing a bad job. Like I'm sure can't say that about his players, which we've hammered him for before. So yeah, but he did seem more on the recruitment side, and he did reference as well getting the same type of players in if the manager goes or if he moves on. He said don't want experience, we want young players who want to press X, Y, Z. Even if the manager goes, we'll still get that same type of player in, which I found were interesting as well.
Yeah, exactly. How did you take that talk, Danny, about the thing with what me and Sam just said? Did you take it the same way, or did you take it that he was just praising Matt Hamshaw kind of blankly?
I kind of took it that he was praising Hamshaw for his ability to attract the right players rather than his, I know it sounds a bit harsh, but his ability to manage the team, because we are still floating around the relegation zone. We are currently in it at the time of sending this out live. So it's not going to be sunshine and rainbows. Of course, there's improvements to be made and everything, but I think he's sort of quietly backed Matt Hamshaw without putting all of his eggs in one basket, because he sort of pushed it away from this is nothing to do with me. I like the business he's done, but if a decision is to be made, then I understand the sort of players that we'll be looking for from his fan. I don't word it. His fan opinion of the club. He knows what the sort of players are that we need to look at. From a business perspective, he also knows that it probably won't be the best business idea to sack another manager, even though we've just recruited all of these players in the January transfer window, etc., etc. So he's sort of playing both sides without committing to an opinion. He said he's done well. He said he knows what we need to look for, but he's not fully back to Matt Hamshaw, which I actually think is the smart decision, because if we're still in this position at the end of March, then, like I've said before, a decision has to be made. However, he sort of put his distance between it's not my decision to be made, but I'm just here to crack on with it as a bit of a I don't control the way the football club's run. I'm just here as an advisor sort of thing. Which, again, it's down to his honesty. I don't think he has fully backed Hamshaw, but at the same time, he's a fan of the club and he doesn't want to upset anybody. So he's sort of gone, I'm a fan of this, that and the other. So I rate his way of answering it, but also shows that he is very media savvy as well.
Very media savvy.
Yeah,
I agree. Mike comes back on Mick's comment and says, fans, I think, generally are overly concerned about board managers, where they come from, as long as the club is successful. Yeah, great if they're local, but not sure about the 92 comment. David Carroll says, if we're in a piggy situation, then we can moan, but let's give everybody a chance. Kenneth Bob's very clever statement, open-ended and left to individuals to interpret. He's clearly a very bright fellow. We'll touch on this one. Tom Swift says, we need to see the performances on the pitch, never say die. Attitude at the minute, and let's be honest, it's not good enough, hence we're second bottom. It was interesting what he said about League Two. Now, again, we're not going to talk about Phil Smith all night, but I think this highlighted the difference for me between Paul Douglas and him. When Paul Douglas was asked about getting relegated, Steve, he basically said it'd be a shame, kind of thing. Whereas Phil Smith kind of broke it down a little bit. Where for a fan, it'd be devastating because you don't want to get relegated. But financially, it's kind of not the end of the world. It's okay if you get relegated financially. And I think that was what Paul Douglas was trying to say in the first place. But I thought Phil Smith articulated it much, much better and left me feeling better about it anyway, if we do go down.
Well, relegation. We've got a long way to go before we get relegated. You do know, we all know that the financial gap between League One and League Two isn't as great as it is between Championship and League Two. So it's kind of an obvious statement. I did think he speaks so well. You can tell that he's been in boardrooms all over the world and he knows exactly what to say. And you have to be a diplomat in his position. And that's a bit of what we're getting, because he's very articulate. Tony's Tony's not that articulate, frankly. No. So that's why he struggles a bit. But this guy, he's sharp as a button. I mean, the bit about what he said about Matt, I'm sure. Again, like we said earlier on, what do we expect him to say? And I think he was referring to the transfer dealings and how he attracts players. But there was also a bit about, I think he's done all right. He's had his hands tied and so on. But, that's like red meat to certain people. I mean, they'd already been calling him a Tony bootlicker the day that he was announced. So, you can't win either way. But, I think if we get relegated, we get relegated. I mean, we've been relegated before. I'd hate it to get relegated. Yeah. Of course I would. We've had, like you've said, we've had 10... When did we get promoted? 2012, didn't we? So we've had a good 14 years of success. All right, 10 years of success because the last 3 or 4 have not been very good. But God's truth, that period I've not seen that ever in 50 odd years of watching this club. So if we go down, then we have to come back up because this club is too big, really, to be in League Two. We are a natural top end League One club with aspirations to go into the Championship. That's where we are. That's where we've always been. So I don't know. This guy is a bit of fresh air. Let's wait and see what he pulls out from behind the scenes, what he can tweak. And he's quite right. It's not his call whether I'm sure gets sacked. So, he's not going to be drawn on that. Might be an interesting question to ask him what he meant about those comments. If you're that bothered about it.
Football asks that ticket losses for League Two will be massive, surely. I've echoed Tom saying he'd renew most of them here would because we live and breathe. I think the Championship loss of tickets is massive. But that's mainly away fans. I don't think the home fans make a huge amount of difference. Because if we go in League Two and go on a roll because we're in a lower league, fans will come back. We'll sell out every weekend, the home side of things. So I don't think that's why I think the financial side. I don't think it matters too much. But obviously, it's the fan side of things which will be gutted.
Oh God, I don't think you can underestimate the what. And I'm going to sing Tony Stewart's praises here. I guess the move back to New York Stadium and the success that Tony Stewart built, along with the managers he employed, specifically Paul Warne. But the success that they built over those 12 years, as we've got an average, I reckon we're about 7,500 at the moment, roughly. When we have a decent game and when we're in Championship, it's 10, 11, 12,000. But at the moment, as we stand, probably 7,500, 8,000 people turning up almost every week.
Yeah.
That would have been an unbelievable crowd. An unbelievable crowd at Millmoor, So we've gained a lot of supporters because of the success that we've had. But we've also retained a lot of them, which is very unusual, And I know I harp on about this a lot, but you look at the likes of Sunderland, and I know they've got a massive ground and it's a bit of a captive audience and everything else. But they'll sell their stadium out in the Premier League, but in League One, it's half full. They don't retain their support. We seem to have retained. We've increased our average. I reckon our average from Millmoor twice, maybe 3 times over. We're averaging 3,000 supporters, and we're probably averaging 2.5 times that now. We've lost some absolutely, but and that's obviously again something that he's going to be wanting to think about, and what the club should be thinking about. Whether we go down to League Two or not from a footballing point of view, from a supporter's point of view, it's horrific, it's horrendous. No, none of us want it, absolutely not. But from a financial point of view, I'm not convinced it would make a huge difference because, like you say as well, Matt, we're gonna. The chances are, hopefully, we will be competing at the top end of that division, and therefore, the chance of success, and it will bring more supporters in, and so on and so forth. So, I don't want it. None of us want it, but I don't think it's the doom and gloom that everybody suggests it actually is, the end of the football club and all that.
Yeah, agreed. Well, let's finish on some comments because we'll talk about football. Robert Dixon said, I want him to engage fans and stick to what he's good at, improving his away from the pitch commercially, increasing revenue and making the most of technology. Steer away from football. Yeah. But he's like us, Rob. We're all entitled to our opinions as we all are. Manly lads were averaging 3,000 in the 70s. I remember being in the championship in 9,000 being a really, really, really good attendance in the championship. So, let's see what happens. We'll speak to him, and the proof's in the pudding, isn't it? You know what I mean? We're all praising for what he's saying now, but if we do get relegated and it all goes badly, his name's on the tin kind of thing now as well, which is as it is. Right, moving on to the actual football that's going to happen on the football pitch, Mick. Burton Albion on Tuesday, and then Donny at home on Saturday. Two of our relegation rivals. Probably not scene defining, because even if you lose both of them, the table's so close, you're not going to get people can't get away from us too much. But at the same time, it feels a huge week. It feels an absolutely massive week of football for us, bearing in mind the two levels of the two opponents, and they'll be thinking the same about us as well.
Of course they will. Absolutely. We'll have had 2 weeks of working with the brand new players, with the new squad. Hopefully that work's going to pay off. It's got to pay off. The injury list is still not great. There's some key players on that, and no immediate return. Imminent for most of them anyway. It's not season defining, no, but these are the games that are hugely important. Whether you're at the top of the league or at the bottom of the league, playing the teams around you are more important than the others. So I'm rambling. I'm talking. I'm all I'm doing is saying what everybody knows. I just hope that we can turn on some of the performances that we've shown this season. Some, not very often, but we have shown them. I'm not convinced that the Cardiff game was a decent litmus test as to actually where we are. The sending off in that game fired them up, and they absolutely they nailed it. And had they played like that with 11 men, it would have been 7 or 8 now, because they were outstanding. For this level, they were outstanding. They were quicker, faster, stronger, better in every department. And I'm saying that now as a Rotherham United supporter. There'll be another 20 odd supporters of other clubs in this division who will be saying the same thing when they've played them. They're not Birmingham like Birmingham were, but they're head and shoulders above anybody else in this division. Certainly on that performance last week. So I'm not convinced it's a great, like I say, a great sort of litmus test as to where we are and where our season is. These next two games may well be.
Yeah, they are. Have you seen, by the way, Burton at Cardiff getting upset about Sean McWilliams and concussing one of their players? That's been a whole thing on the Cardiff Twitter timeline this week.
I didn't see that, though.
I didn't see it all. I've seen the clip, and it's difficult to see. It just looks like McWilliams has checked him a little bit. It's one of those where he checks him and the arm comes out after, so it looks like his elbow. Look, if he has, he deserves a ban, but I don't think he has. But, what are you going to do?
I mean, he still scored a goal, that guy, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's got a bit of a headache afterwards.
Yeah.
It's Cardiff, though, isn't it?
Well, exactly. I'm surprised he didn't drown in the water that was on the pitch.
Tom Swift says they're not a bad team, Burton, with a good manager in his opinion. Yeah, Burton are always limited by the finances because they're such a small club. But they are a bit like us. They're kind of punching above their weight a little bit. When we're in the Championship, I always feel like we're a bit of a Burton of the Championship. But what that means, Danny, is they know their jobs. That Burton team is going to know what their jobs are, how to do them, and in what way they're going to do them. They're going to be super organised. They've got some goals in that team, not millions of goals, but enough goals to keep them fighting in a position where they want to be. This is not going to be an easy game at all.
Oh God, no! I mean, I know it's slightly tipped the scale in our favour, depending on how you look at it, with them taking West Ham to extra time in the FA Cup. However, it also kind of shows that they gave them a game. You could argue that West Ham didn't turn up or whatever, but Burton still gave them a game and they held them at 0-0 for the vast majority of those 120 minutes. And so it goes to show that, like you say, they know the jobs, they're organised. The results haven't been the best for them this season, so that's why they're down at the bottom with us. But I mean, what you need to do is look at their record against Cardiff this season. You know, they went to Cardiff and beat them, and then they clawed it back to 2-2 at their place. So yeah, it's not going to be an easy job for us at all. If anything, for us, it's a test of our bottle. You know, it's a team that's down there with us. We need to beat the teams that are around us to stand any hope of putting any distance between us and the red zone. But Burton will probably try their hardest to stand in our way. You know, they'll want to put their own distance between them and the relegation zone. So I think it's going to be a really tough game for us. I don't think any team's going to run away with it. I think it's going to be a game of taking your chances. If we take ours, fair enough. But if we don't turn up and Burton take their chances, then, you know, there's only one way that's going. I wouldn't say it's an all-out must-win game, but it's certainly important, very important that we do.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Tom adding, we've got a very hard run of games. Next 2 games he sees them as kind of 2 6-pointers. I mean, it's one of those that if you lose them, Sam, like I said, there's lots of games left. The league's so tight. It's unlikely we're going to get cut adrift because how many teams there are around us. But on the flip side of that, if you win both of them, that then potentially does become season defining. Because you could be 5 points clear of the relegation zone, 4 points clear of the relegation, with a game in hand in there as well. It then changes everything. You get 6 points on the board. One of those is going to be a local derby on Saturday, and you can kind of build that the weight will be lifted like it's never been all season. So from that side of things, I think just winning them is what could be defining the season. Sorry.
Well, that's it. Yeah, because we've lost 3-0 to 10 men. That's not going to do the conference any good.
No.
So if we lose to Burton, who were down there with us, that fans are already rattled as it is. That heaps so much pressure on against Donny.
Yeah.
And you looked at the reaction last time we lost to Donny, earlier on in season, and fans were losing their heads. And we weren't in the relegation zone then, were we? So it's going to be, it's not season defining, but we need to win them just for confidence and for the fans, really. Because it's going to turn so toxic on Saturday if we've not got any points or a draw from them too, I think.
Yeah, if we get 0 points, toxicity will be
especially against Donny, our whole team.
Exactly. Yeah. Look, we haven't had time to do a scout report for Burton. We've had time off. What do we need to do? But if you look, it's quite easy to just look at their stats with their main manager. Jake Beasley's got 12 goals. I think he scored 33 goals this season. He's got 12 of them. So it's quite obvious and clear who their main man is. Steve, you're around the area as well. Can you give us any knowledge of any of your friends who are Burton supporters?
I'm closer. I'm closer to Burton's ground than I am to Derby County's ground by half a mile. Okay. So I'm actually going, believe it or not.
Okay.
So beware. We've never really been that good at Burton. I remember Alfie scoring a scruffy goal that made us win 1-0, and then. Rest of the time, I've always gone away disappointed, frankly, from there. And also, on one of my famous holidays last year, when Louis Sibley scored in the first minute, I thought, we're on to something here, and got absolutely cuffed. I was just looking at league table, actually, and there are, this surprised me, there's seven teams within 3 points of us.
Yeah.
Wigan, Burton, Doncaster, Blackpool, Leyton Orient, and Northampton. So, we win the next 2 games, and it's looking a little bit prettier. Equally, we lose the next 2 games, and as Sam says, it's going to get a bit tasty at New York next week. You can't stop it happening. I hope we win. I watched some of the Burton game yesterday, and they are very energetic. So we need to get energy into our game like we didn't against Cardiff. We seem to be very flat and tired. I'm hoping that he's been feeding them a bit of red meat, because that's the only way we're going to compete with them. We've got to compete with these teams before the perceived talent that we have comes to the fore. And Burton is always a difficult game because everybody thinks, they're a small club, they should be all right to beat these, but they never are.
No.
Are they? Even I mean, they've been as at Rotherham when Jackson somebody scored on a winter's night round New Year. We lost 2-0. So I remember these things. I mean, I know a couple of lads at work who are Burton fans, and they keep saying to me, "Oh, you'll probably beat us," and that's not guaranteed, fella. But if we put energy into our game, then we will compete. And if we compete, I just hope we get one in off Nombe's backside. And we desperately need 3 points. I agree. Yeah, because all this stuff about Phil Smith and so on, it is results that make fans feel better.
100%. Yeah, it is, absolutely. We haven't won at Burton since 2019, as far as I can tell. That was a 1-0 win. We haven't beaten them in any competition anywhere since 2021, which was a 3-1 win at home. That was in the promotion season, deep into the promotion season under Warney. So it's been a little while. They're not quite a bogey team, are they, Mick? But even that 3-1 win there, I just mentioned, the last time we beat them. I remember that was when Jimmy Florasso was manager. It was still one of the toughest games we had that promotion season. It was. I don't know why, and they might not do it for the teams. It seems like it's just Rotherham United who do this for. But they're an absolute bugger of a team to play against generally, and we saw that last year. Same manager with similar players. We 1-0 up, top of the world. We were on a winning run. We thought, this is it. We've cracked it. And they just didn't lay down. They do not know how to lay down this Burton. And second half of the season, they are, again, absolute buggers when they come alive second half of the season.
Yeah, they do. And they play some good football. That's one of my sort of ideas or my memories of watching us against Burton. They always seem to play some really nice football. Never really that effective in final third. So, yeah, bogey team, I don't know. I wouldn't say. But we don't win, and I feel like we never do very well against them.
Yeah.
When it Paul Warren's first match in charge when he took over, was away at Burton, and I remember that being a hugely disappointing day for all of us, but for him especially, I imagine. Yeah, there's little anecdotes of various games against him where we really should have done better.
And that was, remember the game when we'd been 10 points ahead at Christmas, and we went to Burton in April, and we lost 2-1. And we all thought at that point we just completely chucked it away. And then on the Saturday, I think, the following Saturday, he changed formation against Ipswich on the telly, and we won 1-0. And, the rest. But Burton, you're right, an absolute pain in the backside. Because, I mean, my former boss was a Burton fan, and he used to give me, raging jip about it. So, yeah, we need to win for me, personally. We need to win for Steve. Me. Nobody else, me.
Can I just say, while I think on, because I will forget, I can see that Gaza is in the comments, Sheffield United fan. Mate, Jamal Baptiste, you're not having him back.
No.
Simple as that. He's absolute garbage. You don't need him. You don't want him. We'll keep him. We'll develop him. You don't want him. You're not having him.
Yeah, it's fair. He likes it here.
Yeah,
you get to relegate Wednesday next week. We'll keep Jamal Baptiste. Everybody's happy. We're all smiling.
It was a good minute.
Come on. Thomas Swift says Gary Bowyer, I really like, would have been a good shot after Richardson. Former Miller, Gary Bowyer.
Yeah.
He was part of the team that won at Wembley in '96. Didn't play, but was on the bench for that day as well. So, yeah.
Who was the other substitute then? Can anybody remember?
I wasn't there. No. We all know what mixed memories like.
What are we talking about here? Sorry, I was miles away.
Who was on the bench with Bowyer at Wembley in '96? McGlashan.
Oh?
John McGlashan.
Was it?
Sure it was.
I'd never have got that.
Now you're making Steve question himself.
I'm questioning myself now.
Yeah.
Wow. There we go.
Anyway.
Rotherham connections and there is news of injuries, Sam. None of it good, unfortunately. Although Josh Benson might be back actually, so that's a massive positive. Bear in mind the creativity he can bring.
10 minutes.
For 10 minutes, obviously for 10 minutes, till his calf gives way again.
Yeah.
But 2 blows of injuries. We knew about the Dangor one. That was 4 weeks. By my counting, we're about halfway through that. So we're probably 2 weeks away from Dangor coming back, which is news. Joe Powell, 4 weeks. As obviously, we're a week into that now, but he, just as he started to really, really come into his own, in this last 4 games before injury, I thought he was been the best player in those 4 games, and now he's out for 4 weeks. I'm good for him.
Yeah, I put out on X, actually, I said I've been his biggest critic, but I'll happily eat humble pie because he's upped his game massively. And that's the biggest one, I think, because his set pieces were, especially on that left-hand side, whipping in, were on the money. So it's we were flush in midfield, and then all of a sudden we've got nobody.
Yeah.
We've just got Drew Yearwood and Benson, is it?
Spence might be fit.
Yeah, well, you see, I'm not happy with Amshaw on that one. Playing Spence against Cardiff. It's outrageous, really, isn't it? Because how can you say it's bad luck getting all these injuries, yet you're injecting somebody, not letting them train, and then play them against top at league when you've got Yearwood on bench, you've got Lenny, so you could have put Manny in midfield. I just think risking players like that, especially when we had 10 days off after, is just stupid, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Yeah. So you'd hope Spence should be fit now, as it's been 10 days or so. So you'd expect for Spence to be fit and round to go. Where I don't want to delve into the formation chat, Steve. I think it's pointless. So he's going to go 3-5-2. So we're going to need 3 midfield. Let's just go with that because it's easier. Where does Yearwood fit into this? Because he should be playing. If Dan Gore's not playing, Drew Yearwood should be playing for me.
Well, that's one of your biggest problems is that you're now shorn of Dan Gore and Powell. And Powell, whatever you say about him, I think is a vital player for our team. And if Spence ain't playing, then you really haven't got any choice but to play Yearwood in the middle. Frankly, there's what other options have we got? Have I missed any midfielders?
McWilliams.
Well, again, he's not
Liam Kelly.
Yeah, there is Kelly, but he's definitely been ghosted out.
We might end up with Liam Kelly.
Bit of pace.
So it's very difficult. I mean, I'm just going to turn up tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night, Tuesday.
Don't go tomorrow, Steve.
And won't go tomorrow. And we'll see, won't we? You know me in formations. I don't do formations. No. I just want the players to play well. Players are chosen. If they play well, then we stand a chance of winning. You can do it 3. I mean, in the Cardiff game, he changed formation about 3 times. Didn't really make that much of a difference. But I do agree with the 3-5-2 being. It exposes us down the flanks. I mean, even I understand that, But when you've got wing backs that aren't quick enough, like we've got 2 full backs as wing backs. But the midfield is the problem because of the injury now. With Gore not there, Powell not there, Spence might not be there. You've got McWilliams, you've got Yearwood, and you've got Liam Kelly. So we've got no pace in the midfield, and that's where we struggle. I mean, you look at if you watch the game yesterday at the Burton game, they've got some energy and they've got some pace. What's the guy's name? Is it not Shard? Shade? Is it somebody? There's another guy that's scoring the goals as well. He scored against us in the game at New York. Him and Beasley are a pain in the backside as well.
Terry Sade. He's got in all competitions. He's got 11, 5 of those, 6 of those in the cup though.
So those two are the ones that are going to hurt us.
And he looked good yesterday.
I'm a little bit worried about the thinness of our midfield this time. So whoever we play, it's not going to be as good as it.
He'll chuck Harry Gray in there or something, just to keep the formation. He'll chuck Harry Gray in there or something just to keep the formation.
Rob Dixon says can't cover. Is it? Well, we're deciding how you pronounce his name, by the way.
Cover, I think.
Apparently it's Cover.
Can Cover in midfield? Asks Rob Dixon. Sorry. I think he can. I don't know is the answer. Seen him once. We'll see what happens.
Well, I thought he did all right actually against Cardiff. He looked keen.
He did. Energy. He had a bit of energy.
And I'll tell you what, he looked mighty annoyed at the end of the game when we lost.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
He was
that.
quite happy, bunny. Which again is a positive, isn't it? You know, he's
Yeah,
only been
it
here
is.
a week. He's not even been here a week.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Mark Gamble's watching a bit behind, but can we please ask Phil Smith if he has a magic trick?
If his magic trick is keeping Rotherham in League One, I'm all for it.
Take it. How much does that midfield concern you, Danny? I suppose the question, because we're missing those players. If Benson's fit, I'd be amazed if he starts, bearing in mind his fitness record. So then you are picking from a starting midfield of Sean McWilliams, Drew Yearwood, probably Kean Spence, and then maybe Liam Kelly. That's kind of what you're choosing to start from. It's gone from being great options everywhere to you get what you get.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying earlier on in the season, we had quite a hefty weight of players in midfield, so that was the biggest headache. It was more who was going to play centre half or centre forward. Whereas now it's like, well, who's going to be our three in the middle? And by the sounds of it, two of those players can't play a full 90 minutes in Spence and Benson. So it could be start one, play other in the second half, and hope the other two can last 90 minutes. But then you're risking even more injury risk. With the lightness of fit players in midfield at this point now, because like I said earlier, it does feel like Liam Kelly has been frozen out of the team, other than being on the subs bench occasionally now, because I don't know, maybe he's the one that we couldn't get rid of. I mean, we got rid of Sean Raggett. Maybe Liam Kelly didn't get rid of in the summer window because no one came in. But anyway, that's by the by speculation. But we've said before that, I know it's formation chat, but we've said before that sometimes a formation change is warranted just because of the bodies that you have. And if we can get two midfielders in there and then play wider players, which we have done before and it's worked, then fair enough. That could warrant it. But also we've seen Matt Amshaw's stubbornness with the 3-5-2, and it seems we've started nearly every game with that. So maybe Sam's right. Maybe we'll see Harry Gray playing as an attacking midfielder, for example, or we'll see. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name because I'll just
Biancheri.
Which one?
Biancheri or Biancheri?
Yeah, the Italian Canadian Welshman. We might see him potentially taking up a role in midfield as well. So I think it'll be quite cobbled together in midfield, which isn't a nice thought going into a game where, like you say, Burton have got pace, they've got energy, they've got endurance in them as well. So they could just overload us there. I think the game will be won, for us at least, in attack and defence, which is why I think it'll more be a 5 at the back rather than a 5 in midfield with the wing backs, just because I think we'll set up to stop Burton scoring rather than them trying to play through us. But it's not a nice feeling being light on midfielders. We're not used to this. It's not nice.
No. So the only thing we've had to hang us hats on is the amount of midfielders we have available.
I mean, the way it's going, I might see Adebayoga in midfield as well as a sitting midfielder as well.
Do that, yeah. Allegedly, you can do that, yeah. People asking about Douglas. Aaron Cower says, can we play Douglas as a midfield that plays in front of defence? I think Douglas is another good news. I think he should be available. That's again, I assume they're going to do a presser tomorrow. I would have assumed. We haven't had one as of time of recording, so maybe we'll find out tomorrow what the case is going to be with that. It'd be good to get him back in the squad, Douglas, because he was great before his injury. He's obviously another one. An area of the pitch which, if we're going to win the game, Mick, is where we're going to win the game is the strikers, and that's at somewhere we do have the energy. Assuming neither of them have pulled up injured in the last 10 days. You've got legs for days in Sam Nombe and Harry Gray. They will try and run that Burton defence ragged, even if we're not got the ball or not the ball in dangerous areas. They're still going to be constantly making that move. The only two that do after the Cardiff game. So we've got something that we can be positive about, and to hope if everybody else plays great, you've still got a chance with those two in your team.
Well, you have, and Biancheri gives you another option as well. You know, you could play 4-3-3. And then you've got this to die for up there. You know, you've got Drew Yearwood who could play midfield. You've got Hamish Douglas in there. At least one of Benson or Spence perhaps might be available. Cover maybe can play in there as well. There are options. So The key to it, and the massive part of the issues against Cardiff was a lack of movement. But that has been I know I keep banging on about it, don't I? Every time we have a podcast, but it's been a huge problem for the whole of the season, and something I find really, really surprising under Hampshire. I anticipated that the energy would be there, i.e., the movement, the press, and then the movement off the ball when we're in possession, and it's non-existent at all. And Russell just made a point there. There's Duncan Watmore as well, who could also arguably drop back and play in midfield, even as a number 10 or whatever. So that there are options.
There's that young lad from Villa as well, isn't there?
Susan should be available.
Yeah.
Is he primarily a left back?
Yeah, left wing back is his specialist position.
So there's options. There's options. Yeah. But it's about actually playing. It's not necessarily the players that play; it's actually playing the game.
Yeah.
Run
harder. They've just got to run harder a lot of the time, cover more ground quicker. And they've had a few days off, so
yeah.
They're the type of team, but and I mean this nice way possible because we do this sometimes in the Championship. They're going to dirty the game up. I don't think it's going to be a classic. It's going to be a matter of who wants it a little bit more. And you've got to hope that we've had that 10-day rest. They've had 120 minutes against West Ham where they pushed West Ham all the way. We've got to hope that our legs can take us through. If our legs don't take us through on Tuesday, where are they going to take us through? which is quite a big concern. We're going to play the game and assume, Sam, that Hamish Douglas is fit because my last thing I knew he was going to be fit for this weekend. Does he come straight back into that side? I suppose is the question. Where do you sit on Hamish Douglas if they're available?
He was the first name on the team sheet when we were unbeaten in 10, and we injured and then we lost after that. So put it down to him that we're now in this rut. I would probably start him. You've got Lenny on the bench though. You've also got Baptiste who could go in midfield as well, I reckon.
True.
Who am I going to say? Is Coletta back as well?
Probably for 10 minutes again, yeah.
Because it's where you put Rafferty. Would you put Rafferty on the bench? Because if Coletta, I'd have Coletta on the right. Or you've got over, I suppose, haven't you? He's not changing formation. So we're going 5 at the back.
Yeah.
And Yearwood's going to be on bench guaranteed, no matter if there's no other players. So to a certain. Reece James is another one. I didn't understand him starting because he's broke his ribs, hasn't he?
He's having rib issues for about 2 months. It seems he keeps getting knocked again every time he plays.
He never gets like a day off, does he? Bless him.
No.
So that's Sousa we could do with starting, or maybe playing James just for first 45, and then bringing him on maybe. But yeah, we could just do with changing formation up, really. Manage around the bodies absent.
Novel idea. Novel idea. It'd be interesting to see. Like I said, with Douglas, I like Lenny. He's been very, very unlucky not to play one game. Baptiste has been really good. Biega was pretty good, although gave the ball away a reasonable amount against Cardiff, but he was okay. It's going to be interesting. That's as much as we can say. We just don't have anything else to give on it at the minute. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's move on to Ref Watch. I gave you stats already for how often we've lost to Burton or not beaten Burton. The referee is Abigail Byrne, or Byron, Byrne, Byrne. We'll go with Byrne. First time she's refed us. She hasn't refed us referees before. She's coming up through the ranks by the looks of it. She's done 5 to 10 League One games, so not like super inexperienced, but not massively experienced at this level. And would struggle to be worse than some of the refereeing decisions I've seen this weekend.
Better than Sebastian.
Good, better than Sebastian. Mick, we've had a request. Do you want to have a go at referees this weekend? VAR-less Premier League referees. Would you like to have a pop at them or anything?
Yeah. I mean, it's the penalty. The Newcastle free kick was a reversal of our penalty against West Brom, wasn't it? I couldn't believe that. I mean, how can a player leap for a ball whilst he's stood in the area, hit his hand whilst he's in the air, and then land in the area, and it not be in the area?
What was his linesman doing?
Well, his linesman must have been right level with it.
Yeah, exactly. So why? My God.
This is one of the issues. I know we're digressing from Rotherham United, but and I don't know whether Shearer made this comment. I think he probably did. But one of the issues with VAR is that as a referee, naturally you're going to become reliant on it. You know, you're going to be, because you know that it's going to be there to mop up any mistakes that you make. Unless Stuart Atwell's on VAR, then it could happen. Obviously. But yeah, it's poor. You know, that game there were three big decisions that were wrong. The first goal being offside, being given offside and not offside, or offside.
No, it was, the goal was given and there were 3 players offside, including the scorer.
Yeah. The sending off.
It should have been. Well, I'd have said he would have been sent off if the VAR had checked that, because he basically could have broken his ankle.
Yeah.
He could have got sent off for 2 different things, to be fair.
Yeah. So it was just bizarre.
There's been some weird decisions, haven't they?
They use the phrase "comfort blanket." That's what Shearer
said.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree. They get a bit flabby in their decision making, knowing that they'll get corrected by some cameras.
But it's natural, isn't it? You know, if you're doing your job and you know that everything's going to get picked up, you don't have to worry about doing a great job.
But they were so bad.
Yeah.
You think, how? As you say, it's the reverse of the one we had at Leeds.
Yeah.
It also highlights the issue that we've had with the FA Cup, that, you know, to VAR or not to VAR, you know, because we've had the seasons where if it's a Premier League game, then at Premier League ground we have got VAR, but if it's not, we haven't, and which obviously were clearly unfair. Now we haven't got it at all, and the referees are making mistakes, which they're always going to do. You know, it's not you can't argue with that, and we'll argue the toss with it on the terraces and argue, and probably on here as well. But you know, they do make mistakes. But some of those yesterday, particularly the Villa Park game, was.
Yeah, to kind of half defend the ref, I thought all 3 his linesmen could have helped him, should have helped him. All 3.
Absolutely.
Easy way to fix this is just sack off VAR completely and put it all back on the referees. The
Yeah.
game would be better, and the referees would have to be better because they can't have anything to fall back on. It would have to improve. But it won't. But anyway, moving on. Right, Prediction League table. Just for you, Sam, I've done the table, and it's close. It's really close. Sam was running away with it. Now he's level pegging with Kev.
Oh, thank Christ, I'm not bottom.
So we have Kev and Sam joint top on 26 points. Tom only 4 points behind. Andrew not doing so bad. Joy's had a bit of a comeback, to be honest with you. I had to get rid of the banner at the bottom to see Ben down there. But yeah, it's relatively close. They're very close at the top, actually. Literally drawing. You can't coast anymore, Sam. It's time to get back down to the serious business of predicting whether Rotherham will win, lose, or draw. I'll let you go first, mate. What do you reckon?
Oh, let Kev go first. What's Kev gone for?
I've got Kev's gone. Kev's gone 3-1 to us.
3-1?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not listening back then, am I? I'll go 1-0 to us. I remember going to that last one, I think, where you said we won. And all I remember is our fans were more bothered about an inflatable pig that we had in the stand because it was that boring. Just battering around that level. Pig.
Yeah, fair enough. 1-0 to the Millers. Mick, defending champion, what would you like to go with?
I'm having a nightmare, aren't I? Yeah. This is what you get for trying to be positive. This is what you get for being a positive on the United fan. Abused and bottom at league, almost. Well, second bottom equals second bottom, bit like the football club, really.
Well, the bottom's left the country. What's your
exactly? Yeah, he's left in disgrace.
Yeah, sat on a sunny balcony somewhere in 28 degrees while we're in snow. Git. I'm going to go same as Sam. I was going to go 1-0 Rotherham, and I'm struggling to see us keeping a clean sheet, but I'm going to continue to be positive.
Okay, cool. Steve, what do you reckon?
Well, I predicted us to win against Cardiff. but I'm not making that mistake anymore. I'm going to sit on a fence and say 1-1.
Fair enough. I'm going to go. I'm going to 1-1 as well. I don't think it'll be pretty. Danny?
Well, I'm going to kind of agree with all of you. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. However, I do think we'll win. I have a feeling this game's going to go the same as Northampton, where we didn't play the best. It was on the back of quite a poor showing. But with this one, I think we'll find a way. I think it's going to be 2-1 to us.
Fair enough. Lots of positivity. The only person that's predicted a Burton win is Scott, and he's going for a 2-1 Burton, when everybody else has predicted us winning or drawing, which is interesting and positive, which makes no sense really, but that's football for you. Tom Swift goes 2-1 to Burton as we'll play through at the back. Chris Taylor says 1-1. John Mill 2-1. Ken Hawks says 2-1 to Burton, he thinks. Rob Dixon says no legs in midfield. Now, likely 3-5-2 will result in a 2-1 defeat. Harry says 2-1 to us. Steve Winner goes 2-1-2. Gazza goes 1-0 to Rotherham. He says he likes the manager. Well,
He's on wind up. Gazza's on wind up.
Goose Page 1-0 to Burton, and Dominic Code 2-1 to the Millers. Interesting. Anything else, boys and girls, that we'd like to mention?
No.
Chef Wednesday's got the first goal for this year.
Oh, funny. And then
Yeah,
threw
we
away
still
instantly.
lost.
Yeah.
Ban an own goal by any chance? I didn't see him.
Yeah. Do you remember being that bad that when you scored, it gave you that? You knew you were going to lose. You went into a game knowing you were going to lose. You got that goal and you got a little bit of hope. We're going to finally win today. And then you lost and you felt like somebody had kicked you in the stomach.
It's like the Roy Hodgson meme from when he was England manager. That sudden,
Yeah. And it's hilarious. It's so funny. We've got somebody else to laugh at. Tom Swift's crewmate's out imminently. Well, if you like
These ones have been out a while, mate. I've been baffing them down.
Oh, yeah, another message. Let's talk about the game of the century briefly. That's been put together by mainly the Community Sports Trust, as far as I'm aware. They've announced 3 legends so far, which is Alfie, Kev Watson, and somebody help me. Yeah, that's it. Three great players. Who's next, I wonder? Some great players is who is next. Some really, really great players are lined up for this. So if you haven't already get a ticket for that, pretty reasonably priced. I really, really, really hope we don't go down because it's the day after the season finishes. And that's... We're all being a bit of a Debbie Downer, won't we? If that happens. So, Monkey.
We better stay
Monkey
up.
says. Exactly. Alfie, Kev Watson and Monkey are the 3 that's been named so far. 3 experts. And I really, really hope Alfie scores, just because he's obviously scored all them goals for Rotherham and none of them were actually in Rotherham. So if we get a penalty on the day, give it Alfie, get him a goal in Rotherham for the first time ever. That would be fantastic. And it's raising money for charity. It's not just some money for the club to go into whatever. It's more money for charity as well. So please do get involved with that. Once, I'm sure you might not know those 3 players, but there'll be more to come. I'm sure you will know as well. So keep an eye out for that on the socials as well. We will be back. It's a busy week this week. We will be back with the Phil Smith interview probably Tuesday tea time. The idea is to put that out just before the Burton game, 5-6 o'clock, all being well. I assume we can get edited and whatever. We'll do an instant reaction on Tuesday. That will probably be live because it's a midweek game, so why not? So keep an eye. Again, join us after the game for that one. Then we'll be back on Thursday, which will be a preview of Donny. We'll try and get a scout report done for Donny if we can. But again, it's a busy week, so we might not have time to do that. And obviously, we feed into the weekend going forward as well. We may even bring back the vlogs this weekend as well, which makes me feel a bit dirty saying that. But we might do. We'll see what happens with that one. Make sure you've liked the show if you haven't done so already. Make sure you've subscribed. I hope you've all enjoyed your week off from listening to us idiots talk about football. But now we're business. Now it's the business time. 6 games in 18 days, wherever it is. This is when it gets serious. So look forward to speaking to you all further over the next, whatever it's 2 months, whatever it's till the end of the season, 3 months till the end of the season. Thank you very much, Mick. Thank you very much, Danny. Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much, Sam. We will see you next time. Thank you for watching, and as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Comes for more.
2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoot!
this feeling for Rotherham United.
Wood's got round the back, and Richard Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favor, drop me off